I'm a doctor and I'm afraid to let go. Not because I don't have plans, not because I'm lost, but because letting go is not one decision. It is a slow, quiet step away from income, certainty, and the safety of just one more year. This fear did not arrive dramatically. It did not come with a crisis or a clear trigger. It hit me one morning unexpectedly in a way that felt different from the usual retirement anxieties that people talk about. It was not boredom, it was not lack of purpose. It was a feeling of being alone in the transition, like stepping off a path that everyone around me is still running hard on. I feel alone because in many ways I am. I'm treading a new path that few people in my work circles are doing or have done openly. And those who have done it have tended to do it quietly, almost secretly. I turned 57 before Christmas, and I'm still working, still active, but I've started to ask questions that feel strange, that are oddly difficult to say out loud. Can I slow down? Do I want to keep working at this pace? And do I step back? And what does that really mean? In medicine, even raising those questions comes with weight. There is reticence, sometimes embarrassment, often guilt. When a doctor says, I'm thinking of slowing down, of retiring, or actually admits that I've cut back to 3 days a week, it is often said quietly, almost like a confession. Because within our professional culture, it can feel like admitting weakness or that we are no longer up to it. We also compare ourselves with others, even when we pretend we don't. The hours, the lists, the pace, how long you have still been working. And when someone steps back, there is a subtle judgment, sometimes from others, but often from within. A quiet internal voice says, you're not doing enough. You're falling behind. Then comes the rationalizations, the thing that we tell ourselves and to others to explain why we are still working at full tilt. Yes, I still enjoy it. I can't afford to retire. I'm still building my nest eggs. But if I'm honest, sometimes these are convenient cover ups, cover stories. Because the deeper truth is that we don't want to admit fear, at least not publicly, and sometimes not even privately. And today, the fear felt almost tangible. This isn't the first time I felt it. It hit me back in June, and it has been in the back of my mind ever since. But today it came back and hit me sharply with something as ordinary as having a haircut. And I finally felt prompted to articulate it, to write it down, to record it, even if it's just for myself. I went for a haircut, getting ready for my upcoming trip to Harbin. Harbin, it's a once in a lifetime trip for me to see the ice sculptures at the International Ice Festivals in extreme winter cold. So I asked for something unusual this time. Just a trim on the sides. No shortening, no trimming on the top. I wanted to keep the length and the bulk for warmth. The sides had grown long enough to irritate my ears, but I didn't want to lose the entire insulation that my head of hair provided. So just this one small practical decision to have a haircut. So this is a normal routine, everyday life thing, to have a haircut. But when I paid, I noticed the price had jumped again. It landed harder than I expected because preparing for retirement while watching prices rise is unsettling. When retirement is still optional and I can still work to fend off the erosion of inflation, it becomes tempting to delay retirement. And adding to that, my wife's understandable fear about retiring and the guilt that she stirs up in me when I think about letting go, this weight increases. Retiring means reducing or stopping active income. It means ceasing to build and starting to use my savings, my hard-earned savings. And that feels painful. Not because I don't understand the numbers, but because I do. I understand them too well. But when I spend now, it feels gone forever. There is no mental pathway that says, I'll earn it back because I'm not producing new income. The loop is closed, and that is the unease. And I can't always share that fear at home because it worries my wife. And I also get worried it will feed the similar refrain, the familiar refrain. Just another 6 months, just another year. The delay that feels sensible but slowly becomes a habit. So, what is the real work now? Maybe it isn't more consults or more packed schedules. Maybe the real work is learning to step away honestly, to sit with fear without letting it dictate everything, to face the fear, to acknowledge that letting go is hard, not because it's wrong, but because it's real. So how am I dealing with it? I'm starting to say it out loud, naming the fear, the hesitation, acknowledging the quiet loneliness of this period. Because only when I name it can I examine it rather than avoid it. And maybe if more of us speak honestly about this transition, it won't feel so solitary. Letting go doesn't have to mean giving up. It can mean adjusting, reclaiming, living more deliberately, more intentionally, and on your own terms. If this resonates, you're welcome to respond or share your own experience. Many of us are quieter about this than we need to be. Thank you for listening.